Welcome into the In the Money podcast for Kentucky Oaks Day. I'm Tom Leach, along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's director of simulcasting. 6 graded stakes races on the Friday card at Churchill Downs, headlined by the Kentucky Oaks. And we'll also remind you that we'll have a separate podcast, of course, for the big card on Saturday, culminating with the Kentucky Derby. Both the Oaks and the Derby being run for the 141st time. Jim, let's start with race 6. It's the Edgewood, grade 3, on the turf at a mile on the 16th for 3-year-old fillies. Who'd you go with?
Yeah, it's a great day at Oaks Day. It's you just look at the fields, and it's just a gambler's paradise today. So, 6th race is probably not the greatest race in the world. You only got eight fillies, but they're tough. And I like Sunset Glow, Wesley Ward's filly, back in 3 weeks off the Appalachian. I think it may have hurt her a little bit that the Appalachian got canceled on opening day and rerun. So, got the lead there, but she had been off since October. So I'm going to take her. She ran behind Lady Eli that day, who was very impressive, and that's certainly no disgrace. Lady Eli would be 1-5 at this field. So, but the other horse that I like, Sunset Glow's at 3. The other one is Quality Rocks, who had a nice win last time out in the Florida Oaks over Consumer Credit, who came right back and won. And those fillies are tough, and I think that she stacks up well with Sunset Glow, but Sunset Glow's had a lot more grade 1 and grade 2 experience, so I'm going to take Sunset Glow on top, but I'm going to box those two and start any kind of pick 3s, even a pick 6 in this race is the first leg of the pick 6. I would go with those two and take my stand on those two.
And up on the same horse, Sunset Glow. I know the distance is a bit of a question mark for this one, but she is got Dynaformer blood in her, and she should have no trouble stretching out with that pedigree. Also second off the layoff, and there's no Lady Eli in here, so Sunset Glow was the one that I ended up picking as well. I would use her with Quality Rocks, the 1, the 7 Flying Tippet, and the 4 My Year is a Day. Always respect Graham Motion with an import, and yeah, if that one would float up to a little higher price, it would certainly intrigue me, but price is pretty low on that one in a small field, so I don't think you're going to get a big number on that one either. Let's go to the 7th race, the Grade 1 La Troyenne for fillies and mares ages 4 and up, at a mile and the 16th on the dirt. And I'm going to My Miss Sophia. Not real wild about betting a horse going 2 turns after a long layoff, but Bill Mott can get him ready. And she scratched out of a softer spot at Keeneland to go in a Grade 1 here. And she could have run in that race at Keeneland, and she's ready, won that one. So the fact that they scratched her out of an easier spot to run in this Grade 1, and she's working lights out, tells me that Mott thinks she's ready to tackle this challenge. She's given away a lot of seasoning, certainly, but I'm going to try My Miss Sophia, mainly on the confidence in Bill Mott, and use her with Sheer Drama, the 5, the 7 Gold Medal Dancer, and the 8 Molly Morgan, who certainly loves Churchill Downs. What about you?
Got the same horses I had on my notes here. Intrigued by My Miss Sophia off an 8-month layoff for Bill Mott coming back in a Grade 1. So I had the same concept that you've got, and I really think, she was so tough last year, and is she going to be a little short? Possibly, but I would give her a big shot here. I went with Gold Medal Dancer because she has a win over the track, and ran behind Untappable in the Apple Blossom, and there's no Untappable in here, same as Lady Eli in the last race. And and she beat Untappable in the Azeri at Oakland. That's no small feat. So I'm going to Gold Medal Dancer on top, but I'm going to use My Miss Sophia, the 2 below her. Sheer Drama won the Grade 2 Royal Delta at Gulfstream by a bunch and has a great buyer progression of 87, 91, 99. So she takes a step forward. She's right there. And Molly Morgan has 5 wins at Churchill and was second in this race last year. So those 4 horses, I think you got to leave in any multiple race bets. I don't think there's one you can single here. My Miss Sophia, if she had a couple races under her belt maybe, but I think all 4 have a shot. So same 4 horses, a little bit different order. I'm going to take Gold Medal Dancer on top.
8th race, the Grade 2 Ali Sheba for the boys, going a mile and a 16th. And pretty strong 1-2 punch here in Protonico for Pletcher and Honor Code for McGahee. Where did you land?
Can make a strong case for either one of them, and you got to use them. This is the start of the late pick 4, and you've got to use both of them. But I think the distance and pace setup may favor Honor Code. I'm guessing that Burrell on Ben's Legacy is in the 1 hole, and Burrell wants to go for the lead, and that horse has shown some speed the last couple races. So I think that's going to keep Protonico from getting an easy early lead. If Burrell takes that horse back, it's over because Protonico gets the lead. I think he's gone. But Honor Code's drawn in the 7-hole. The last two races, the race last November was beautiful. The race in March at Gulfstream, the Gulfstream Park Handicap, came from 12, 15 lengths out of it, and one just blew it down the stretch, just blew him open. And a lot of trouble. I think Honor Code is the class of the race, and I'm going to take him on top. Protonico, though, if the pace sets up, is a threat to steal it. But those two I would use in the pick 4. I'd use Noble Burr, the 9, and Cougar Ridge, the 10, to pick up the pieces behind those two.
I'm going to take Neck and Neck here, and I really don't think Neck and Neck's going to win, but I think he's won 5 races in his life, and 4 of them have been at Churchill Downs. So he just loves this track. He's had 2 sharp works, and the last race at Keeneland was an improvement. So basically, I would bet this race and box Neck and Neck with each one of the favorites and hope I can split the favorites with a little bit of a price horse in Neck and Neck. So I'll make him the pick, but basically it's more of a key horse than a win pick for Neck and Neck, and then use Protonico and Honor Code. 9th race is the Grade 3 Twin Spires Turf Sprint. Love betting these races. I usually get full fields and some great prices. It's 5 furlongs on the turf, half a furlong shorter than the version that was run at Keeneland last month, or earlier this month, I should say. I ended up going to Storm Alert, the 10, who was beaten by Something Extra in the race at Keeneland, but may not have liked the track because the turf had taken some water. It was listed as good that day, and the previous 2 efforts for Power Alert would have been good enough to win. Those were on firm courses down in Florida. So getting back to a firm turf course, I think, will benefit this one. Tons of speed in here, so from that outside spot, he can just stalk and pounce under Le Peru. And those 2 races prior to his run at Keeneland would be good enough to win this, I think. So I'm going to take Power Alert. Then I'll use him with Undrafted, the 12, the 11, Something Extra, the 8, the Philly Good Deed, and the 5, Positive Side at a big price, but who on his best day could throw a scare into these, and probably use all of those in multi-race wagers. But Power Alert, the 10, is the key one for me. How about you?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, in a big pick 4 ticket, I would use all here because I think this race is wide open. But the 3 horses that I wound up focusing on, I love Good Deed. Loves this turf course, 2 for 2 with a 110 buyer in one of the races. So 1/5 off the track record in June here. So, but maybe a little bit past her best, but still tough enough to contend in here. Something Extra won the Shakertown last out at Keeneland. You got to throw him in there, and then but my pick, and I'm going on a hunch here. And if you remember last year at the Derby, Wes Welker was overpaid by a teller at Churchill. And Wes Welker, of course, is a wide receiver, NFL wide receiver, and he owns a horse called Undrafted because he was undrafted. I don't think Churchill ever got their money back from Wes Welker. I think he refused to pay it. So I figure if he wins this race, they're going to take that $14,000 out of the win money. So I just think that's a great story. I'm not saying that he should pay it, he shouldn't pay it, but I just think that makes a great story. He wins this race, and they write him a check for less what he owed him from last year. So I'm going to take Wes Welker undrafted on top here, but it's wide open. I would love to see that happen just to see what happens.
That's funny.
But I bet you Churchill gets their money if he wins the race.
Oh, that's good. Let's go to the 10th race, the Grade 3 8 bells for 3-year-old fillies going 7 furlongs. Good bunch here, big field. Who'd you like?
I like them all. No, I don't really like them all here. It's hard for me to pick against Promise Me Silver. Any filly that's 7 for 7 lifetime, and you're going to look at her back performances, and you're going to say Ratama and Houston and Sam Houston and Fairgrounds and Lone Star. But she's 7 for 7. Every time she's suited up, she's won. So I think you've got to put her right there with a shot. Icadi's Phaeton intrigues me a little bit. If you go 2 back, she stole the Devona Dale at Gulfstream over a nice field, including Birds of Wire and Eskin for Money, who are running a little bit later today in the feature. So she's got the class. She wasn't persevered with in the Gulfstream Park Oaks. She stretched her out for the lead and didn't get it, and they just eased her. So I think you can just strike a line through that one. Go back to the Devona Dale, and I think she's got a real shot. Taylor S. intrigues me a little bit, the 12 horse. She is 2 for 3 at Churchill for Dale Romans, and has had a couple of nice races at Gulfstream. Lannery's always tough at Churchill, so I'm going to throw her in there. But Icadius Phaeton and Promise Me Silver are my top picks in here, the 2 and the 3. Enchanting Lady, Bob Baffert, you got to throw her in there for Santa Anita, but big difference in Santa Anita's track and Churchill's track.
That's where I ended up going, was Enchanting Lady. Baffert Derby week is usually pretty dangerous shipping in for stakes, besides the big races, the Derby and the Oaks. And this horse had a 98 buyer last time, which is better than anything in the field. Now, this is much tougher company than that last race, but Baffert rather picks those spots well. So I'm going to take Enchanting Lady, and then I'm going to use her with Promise Me Silver, with Callback, who's the other Baffert, and probably will be a shorter price off of the Class Edge, but I don't like as much. And then the 2 Dale Romans fillies, Taylor S. and Lavender Chrissy, who's stepping up off an allowance win, but I happened to see that race, better actually that day, and she could not have won any easier. And I think she's got a lot of ability. I think this is just biting off a lot. But just off sheer talent, I'm going to throw her in there as well. But Enchanting Lady is going to be the key one for me in the 8 bells. Gets us to the 11th race, which is the Grade 1 Kentucky Oaks for 3-year-old fillies, going 1 mile and an eighth. Full field, with even an also eligible in here. I ended up on Bird at the Wire out of the 13 hole for Dale Romans. Loves Churchill Downs. Working fantastic. Had 3 really good works this month at Churchill. And steadily improving figures, and I think maybe even better at 1 mile and an eighth than she's been at 1 mile and a 16th. Use with her the 2 Larry Jones fillies, Lovely Maria, who won the Central Bank Ashland at Keeneland, and I'm the Chatterbox, the 8, who broke her maiden at Keeneland last fall. Puka for Bill Mott, who I thought the race shape was against her last time in New York, and I think she'll beat Condo Commando this time. And then the Pletcher's got 2 fillies in there that are 15-1 and 20-1 respectively, Angela Renee and Eskin for Money. And I would kick myself if I have the winner and a Pletcher horse run second at that kind of price, and I don't have it. So I'm going to use all 5 of those in exacta boxes, with the key being Bird at the Wire for Dale Romans to win the Kentucky Oaks. How about you?
I think Bird at the Wire has a big shot. I think a lot of speed in here, and 13 holes. You can be happy about getting a 13 hole. It's got to be Dale, because she's going to come from way out of it anyway. And I saw her win the Forward Gal at Gulfstream. I was actually playing the Vegas contest that day and had that horse. Got me a little bit of consolation money. And the Devona Dale, Icadius Phaeton, just got the lead and held on. She almost won that. So she could be very easily on a 4-race win streak, and I give her a big shot. I am going to go, however, with I'm a Chatterbox. I saw the Larry Jones filly out here, Lovely Maria, in the paddock on the day of the Ashland, and I went and bet her because she looked so good. And she was 9-5, and I don't bet very many 9-5 shots. She looked so good that day, and then I went back and watched the race at Fairgrounds, and I'm a Chatterbox beat her so easily. Now, Larry has talked since then that he thinks they're pretty even, but I'm a Chatterbox just was so impressive in New Orleans that I'm hoping that it's not the racetrack, that she's gotten that much better with Larry, and I think she's a big shot here, and I think he's got a shot at running 1-2. Stellar Wind from John Sadler was extra impressive in the Santa Anita Oaks. Couldn't have won any easier, just like you talked about the last horse. Bobbled at the start, but then blew him away by 5.5. So I think she's for real as well. Puka for Donegal Racing, that would be a great story if Jerry Crawford and those guys won this race, because they were such good people for the industry. Angela Renee, I can make a case for her. So I think I'm on the same page as you are. I'm going to take a shot with I'm a Chatterbox. I'm going to key there's a Oaks Derby double that's going to pay rather well if you can pick out the Derby winner. So I'm going to put I'm a Chatterbox with about 5 or 6 horses with that Derby field, and I'm going to use her in all my exotics.
Best of luck with your wagers. Don't forget that there are still a limited number of seats available up in the Keene Barn for Derby Day. The dining rooms are all sold out. The grandstand's all open, and then you can sit out in the paddock and enjoy the races from out there at Keeneland. And you can also, the drive-through wagering, that opens at 8 a.m. both days, right?
It does, on Friday and Saturday. And we want to encourage people, if you've got Derby picks and you're confident on them on Friday, come out and bet at the drive-through or the grandstand on Friday. We've got plenty of clerks on Friday because we usually work people the Oaks and Derby, and Oaks is not nearly as big a crowd for us. It's a nice day. It's going to be in the 70s here, so it's a great day to come to the paddock. We've got everything up for the Derby, and you can bet the Derby and avoid the lines on Saturday, because no matter it gets closer to Derby, there are lines that are mutual lines that we try to manage well, but Friday's going to be a much better day for you to wager, or early Saturday. So it's going to be a great weekend here at Keeneland.
Best of luck with your wagers, and we'll have another podcast for the Saturday card headlined by the Grade 1 Kentucky Derby. This is the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.